sending a big wolf howl out to everybody and want to wish you all a bright, beautiful new year. So I'm just going to say it. For a lot of people, last year really sucked, okay? 2017. Whew, what a year. Especially for those of us who are kind of the shamanic type. But at least being a shamanic type person, many of us could really look at the world and look at the atrocities and look at the difficulties and what felt like regressive things happening politically and with climate and women's rights and on and on and on. And look at all of that and say, okay, you know, that frequently when something's getting ready to change, there's a way in which it regresses, and this is the truth. It really builds up, and it moves kind of from a place of kind of like complacency and status quo, and it gets worse. You know, that old statement about that, you know, rebirth or whatever comes after the darkest night, you know, and the dawn always comes after the darkest night. So that's my hope. Now, I had a lot of wonderful experiences last year, in spite of what was going on politically in this country and around the world and with all kinds of things. You know, I'm aware of those things. I hold them in my heart. Like a lot of you, I'm sending prayers. I'm doing what I can on a very practical level, on a very grounded level, to see what I could do to help change myself, first of all, and then to help others to change. And then as those changes happen and as we go to that higher octave of healing into transformation and find more of what we're passionate about, and how we can be of service on the planet, I don't think it's going to change because some politician or some space alien comes or whatever. I think that it's going to change by each one of us really moving into the highest form of transformation we can on every level. Personally, professionally, mentally, emotionally, physically. I've really been working to strengthen this vessel, my body, so that I can have the stamina that I need in my life. And that means taking really good radical care of myself. And of course, spiritually. And for me, it is imperative that I begin each day, each and every day, with a prayer and with a ceremony. And sometimes it's 2 minutes, because that's all I got that day. And other days, if I really need it or I have some extra time in the morning, then I'll have a longer ceremony for myself. And sometimes I just have to say, regardless of what's happening today, I need this first hour now to really go in, to do some breath work, to do some clearing or whatever. So I know you know what I'm talking about. I know that most of you who are probably watching this are probably the choir. You're my friends, you're my shamanic buddies, sisters and brothers, and we're together on this journey. And so I want to wish you a great year this coming year, and that hopefully we can see some of the tides changing, and I'm seeing some of that happening with some of the elections and with some of the things that are being written, and there's shifts going on. And most importantly, even when we can't see them, it's important that we make the shifts that we need to. And instead of, this happens, we want to say shift happens. Because frequently it takes the crap before the shift really does take place inside of us and in the outer world. Now with that, I want to share with you, if I can, a little bit about what last year was like on the positive side. And, last year we took an amazing group to Teotihuacan, to the pyramids, back about this time last year, or in early February, I think it was. Had an amazing group there and beautiful experience. I was, once again, all over the map, literally, traveling out to Sedona and to California and to Minnesota, multiple trips to various places around the country. And we had a really outstanding month-long training program here over on top of Dove Mountain. And we now have, thanks to many of you who've so generously committed your donations, monthly donations for the next year, as well as one-time gifts. We now have, the structure of the air temple. We have a floor, we have some beams, and we have a roof. So we are ready to go. Of course, there's a lot more we want to do over there. We want to put in a bathroom over there instead of a porta potty. We want to put up a nice storage unit so we can put all our things over there so we don't have to haul them over all the time. So there's always more. But right now, regardless of what more there is to come, we have a beautiful structure. We don't have to rent a tent anymore to hold our month-long over there and to do our whatever it is we want to do over there. So we have many plans for that air temple to develop, and we also want to create a water temple. That's the only element that's not over there. So in my mind, it's still going on. Are we going to put up a fountain, this mermaid, Venus type fountain? Or are we going to put up a Kuan Yin? Are we going to put in some sort of little pond and meditation area? I don't know yet, but that will be forthcoming hopefully in the next year. So that's what's happening here at Isis Cove, at Dove Mountain, Venus Rising. I guess you could say the home ship here. And in addition to that, we had Egyptian mystery schools. We had other kinds of mystery schools, different weekend events. We had Transformation House, where people who really need a deeper, longer time and to do deeper work. We have a beautiful team that Ruby really heads up with that. And so much more. I can't even think right now everything else. Of course, we ended the year by going to Egypt, and just one of the most unparalleled magical trips of a lifetime, and just came back from that. And now I'm headed off to Iceland. When I come back, I'm taking off. I'm doing a women's workshop, a sold-out Shakti Rising women's workshop, and then off to Sedona, off to Portland, back to California, back to Sedona, back to Austin, back to Sedona, back for the month long, and that's all before June. And I'm not even going to tell you except to say that there's 2 other big trips this year, and that is Peru in the fall and going to Bali in December, and lots of other things. So I'm a working girl, and I'm very, very grateful to all of you who come on these trips or come back out to do things with Venus Rising. And all of those of you who've come through our training programs, and you're just out there, as Grandmother Twilight would say, kicking butt and frying bacon. You're out there transforming it. And we've got new congregations, very exciting. And we've got one that just birthed with Jeremy and Stephanie. And now we've got, and of course, Gary, Grandfather Muggley birthed his congregation this past year. And I helped him get the priest process kicked off. I forgot about that. In Cincinnati. And then the shamanic priest process. And now we've got Levi out in Bali, where he and Sammy are just rocking it with international people, birthing the congregation out there. We've also had several people enroll for their master's and doctorate degrees with Venus Rising. We've had new staff come on. Like I said, tons of work, tons of rebirth happening. And I'd also like to speak to you about something else now. Venus Rising is ready to go to the next octave. Last year, my book came out with Nita on soul whispering and the art of awakening shamanic consciousness. And I also supported Carly with her book on shamanic Africa, and that will be coming out this next year. She's the lead author on that book, but that will be coming out this next year. But I'm also in the process of developing a platform around awakening the shaman within, which I've been doing for at least 25 years, probably longer, since I've been talking about awakening the inner shaman. And I'm doing a Sacred You course that will be coming out really soon. I hope you'll enroll with it, and that you'll share it with your friends. It'll come out through Sacred and then a big U. And it's me basically breaking down what I've been doing all these years with shamanic consciousness and the tools that I use, and making it simpler for people. So it's a really good program, I think, for you to share with your friends, to share, maybe you can get a little, what I want to say, risky, share with your mother, or your sister, or a friend that you've been wanting to introduce to this work, or maybe your employer or employee. I think that we've broken it down into a level where people can take it in. At the same time, I'm actually working on the manuscript for the same title, Awaken the Shaman Within, which will probably won't come out until 2019. So that's a big piece of work that's happening this whole year, is to really focus on that platform of Awaken the Shaman Within. And one of the best ways I can do that is to align myself with other programs in a very Aquarian way. You know, I have all these planets in Aquarius, and I know we're not the only church in town. There's more than one way to get to heaven or to hell. And that's a good thing to know. But the Aquarian part of me really loves the connecting with all these other people and programs. And much like the Shift Network, if you know the Shift Network, they've aligned and networked with hundreds of people. We've networked with them. So if there's a program they're offering, and I think that it's a good program, you might get an advertisement for that. Also, with Sacred You, if there's a program that we feel that this could be a good program for our audience, you might get that advertisement. And then they repay that support to us. They send our stuff out to a large mailing list. So I just want to put this out there to you, all of you out there who have benefited from Venus Rising in some way, whether you came through Transformation House, whether you're now a practitioner doing the work in the world, whether you did major healing and transformation and deepening of your own spiritual path, whatever it might be. I know that there's thousands of you who really love this work, who believe in it wholeheartedly, who we have a heart connection. You and I have a heart connection, and you will have a heart connection with some of the other staff members with Venus Rising. And you really believe in this work. And you might ask yourself sometime, how can I support Venus Rising? Maybe you don't have a lot of money to make a donation, or, you know, how can I support Star Wolf so she can continue to get her hair done? Gotta have good hair if you're gonna do this work. But seriously, to really help us be able to have more infrastructure, to have more, you know, staff in the office. It's a lot of work. We wouldn't do it if we didn't love it, because it's a lot of work. But if you'd like to know, one of the ways you can help, and that is when some of these affiliate quests come, questions come to you, or the opportunity to take a course. If it's not something that you particularly want to take, but you think that somebody else might, please feel free to pass it on. Anything that we send you in the newsletter, or you see on Facebook, or in our advertising, please know that we have reviewed it, that we feel comfortable with it, or we wouldn't be sharing it with you. And if it's not for you, and you think you know somebody else and who might be interested, that's a way that you can help support Venus Rising, is to pass it on to someone else, or to repost it. And especially if it's something that you go like, wow, this is great. If it's something that really calls to you, if you could repost it on your Facebook page and just take, you know, the 1 minute that it takes to do that, that would mean a lot to us. So that's really my shtick here of what I want to say to you. If it's annoying to you to get a lot of stuff from us, I totally understand if you need to unsubscribe. And I support you in doing so. I want you to be happy in your life and not be annoyed by my emails, newsletters, and what I'm doing. But if you go, oh yay, there's Venus Rising, there's Star Wolf, they're busy, they're alive and kicking, and it's good to know they're there, and that they're kicking butt and frying bacon, and let's see what they're up to, or I'm going to send this to someone else, or hey, I don't have any interest today, I'll just delete it, but maybe next month I'll be interested in what they're doing, or next week. Just do what you need to do. I support you in that, and I really appreciate your support too. So have a beautiful new year. Let's turn this thing around this year, and let's do what we need to do on a personal level, and let's do what we need to do on a local level, and let's do what we need to do on a global level, and let's do what we need to do on a cosmic level. And let's do it the Aquarian way. Let's do it together. Namaste.